Stock of the day though, thought we'd take a look at Super Retail Group. Shares have touched a record high despite warning of a fall in first half profit as costs rise more quickly than sales. Revenue in the period, however, expected to hit a record $2 billion. First half fiscal 2024 profit before tax expected to be between 200 and 203 million, beating consensus expectations by 17%. Henry Jennings, this was a super result from Super Retail. What do you think of it?
It was a super result, Koshy, I have to say. And I've got to say, hardly a surprise, is it? Let's face it. It shouldn't have been a surprise that the consumer discretionary stocks have been on a tear. I know we've been told by numerous economists over the last couple of years that the world is coming to an end because of higher interest rates and the effect it's going to have on consumers. Well, we haven't seen that. What we have seen is consumers trading down a little bit. And this really, I guess, plays into super cheap in terms of the boating, camping and fishing, because those three things are a lot cheaper than going to Rome or Venice on your holidays. And if you look around the place, the number of utes around that have got camping equipment very much stapled to them, if you like, has been extraordinary. It certainly is extraordinary. You know, it seems every ute's got one of those awnings that pulls out. It's got all the camping gear. These guys are very clever as well. They're very good at promoting their core businesses. The actual, the super cheap auto side is very clever. I signed up to their super cheap club and I get about 14 emails a day offering me battery chargers and shock absorbers and cleaning products. So they're pretty good. They've also managed Cyber Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Fridays or whatever they had back in November very well, and the Christmas run-up period very well. And you can see it from the results from boating, camping and fishing, up 8%. Which was pretty good. MacPac even doing okay at 4%. So, you know, it's been very well managed in a consumer discretionary environment where people are looking to go on holidays, to go away a little more cheaply, I guess. The boating, camping and fishing does play into it. Certainly, you know, today, all-time highs. I think it's been a pretty good response to that trading update. I would imagine that the brokers will be starting to update their recommendations and certainly upgrade, but you know, maybe it is priced a little bit ritzy for my liking. Certainly, I'm not sure I'd be buying it here. I'll probably be waiting for it to pull back a little bit. But unfortunately, these things tend to sort of remain pretty elevated, and certainly the whole sector has been.
Okay, so you you wouldn't take some profits at these levels. It's a 5-year high by a long way.
I'd have to say I'd be maybe a little bit tempted to take some profits if you had some, but certainly not all of the holding if you're looking at selling. But you know, I always like selling into strength because sometimes, you know, you can only sell when there's buyers around, so it's sometimes good to take some profits. But certainly I would be using it as an opportunity maybe to scale back on a sort of a tradable part of your core holding, if you like.
Right.
But the results speak for themselves. Yep. The market's taken it well. I would expect to see upgrades. And the sector does not appear to be dead and buried by any stretch of the imagination. And if we see interest rate cuts later this year, you know, it's going to benefit as well.
Yep. All right. Mathan, great brands is it? Super Cheap Auto, Rebel, BCF, MacPac. 500,000 new customers from migrants in the last 12 months has certainly helped retailers, has it?
Yeah, look, these guys are one of the best operators in the sector, hands down. There are a few good operators. You back them every time. But remember, these are cyclicals. You couldn't get a better cyclical than you do with retail. Super Retail, I think the management proved themselves when they bought Rebel, and everyone basically said that was a bad buy, and they turned it around and absolutely killed it. And so the management knows how to do the business. They got good brands, as Henry said. People are traveling less. They're doing domestic holidays. That plays into everything DIY.
Yep.
And these guys benefit from that. But look, you're not buying here. It's basically because all the retail stocks had substantial shorts, and so you're getting the shorts covering. Same thing with JB Hi-Fi, same thing with Super Retail. The best retailers are probably Super Retail, Premier, JB Hi-Fi, and if you want to look at on the smaller side, someone like Chevy Shop.
Yep.
They do well in bad markets, and we are in weak economic outlook, right? So the problem here for me is you're buying a high multiple cyclical where consumer spending is doing really well. The assumption is there's going to be rate cuts. When consumer spending is this good, I struggle to see how you're going to get rate cuts.
Yep.
If you don't get the rate cuts, well, consumer spending comes off. If you get the rate cuts, you need to see consumer spending coming down. So cyclicals, you sell peak and you buy when it's nobody wants to touch it. So
you wouldn't be buying here. If you had it, what would you be doing?
Look, if you have a better idea, I'd be taking profit here and going there.
Yep.
If you don't have a better idea, I'd take the slow way out, take some profit gradually.
Yep.
If it comes off, keep taking more
So
profits.
you wouldn't be buying any retail at the moment because they've all had a sensational run.
The good ones have had a big bounce on short covering. Even the bad ones have come up, right?
Yeah.
So the sector has done really well, where the assumption is rate cuts coming, but it's mainly because short covering.
Right.
So that's ramped it up. I mean, there's still a fair amount of shorts in these stocks. So, so in that context,
and all because everyone's saying economy going into recession, retail is going to be hit hard. Henry, you've been dead against that for the last year, haven't you? Saying the economy wasn't going to be as bad, but I think that massive migration has sort of helped keep it afloat a bit, hasn't it?
Well, I think it has. You're assuming that
And
the
that will be cut
518
Yep.
18,000 people are actually all going camping and boating and fishing, which I'm not sure they are. Maybe they've all bought a rucksack, or maybe they've gone to Rebel Sport to buy some trainers. I don't know. But, when you walk around the shops, there's still an awful lot of money around. We concentrate on the effects of supermarkets raising their prices, etc., of the cost of living squeeze that's going on, rentals, etc. But there is a group of people out there that are doing extraordinarily well still. I still see tradies driving utes with P plates on, and these are $70,000 utes. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. My car's 20 years old, and I've got a Subaru downstairs. There's a 2005 and falling apart. So I've clearly followed the wrong path in life. I should have paid more attention to Mr. Furnish in carpentry class.
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting. You always buy retail stocks when rates are going up. You always sell retail stock when interest rates are going down. That is the historical data, simply because rates go up because people are spending too much.
Yeah.
Rates go down because people are going to spend less.
Right.
So you take what from that historical trend.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Bit of investment history there. All right. Let's get on the stocks you want us to have a look at. And Mathan, Les wants you to run your eye over Lendlease, the